Today's topic we'll be discussing about is RDS. RDS stands for Relational Database Service. This is a SaaS service, software as a service provided by Amazon to us. Okay, we'll talk about database on this. Basically, this service is designed by Amazon to support 5 different database engines. One is MS SQL service, MS SQL database. MS SQL means Microsoft SQL Server. PostgreSQL, MySQL, Oracle database, and Amazon Aurora. Amazon Aurora was the database designed by Amazon itself. Okay, this is designed by advancing the features of MySQL. Amazon Aurora was designed advancing the features of MySQL. So, so what is database? Can anyone answer? What exactly does database mean? Why we use database servers?
It is a repository.
No, repository is something different. In repository, you store the code. Any guesses from others? Why we use database? We use database servers to store dynamic data of the website. To store dynamic data of the website in the database. Okay, in database, data is stored in tables, in columns, rows and columns, and cells. Assume that when you open Excel sheet, how do you find the Excel sheet? You'll have different rows and columns, right? Similarly, in the database also you'll have tables. Under tables you'll have these rows and columns. Okay, on that rows and columns you'll store the data. Okay, as user stores all the data, it will be stored on the cells. Now on the databases, on the database server, we call the databases as schemas. Under schemas you'll have these tables. Under tables you'll have this rows and columns where you store the data. Okay, so let's see how do we launch one database server. Now in order to launch database server, you can find this RDS service under database category. Okay, click on that, and then you have to select the region where you want to exactly launch the database server. Okay, this is the RDS dashboard. Here what it is saying, for the first time we haven't launched any database servers, right? That's the reason it is saying you can launch your database, you can connect your database, and you can manage and monitor the database. Okay, for launching the database, go to instances, click launch DB instance, Select which engine you want to launch. MySQL, okay, it supports MariaDB, Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon, Aurora. Okay, in this, for example, we'll go with MySQL. So here, when you select MySQL, he is listing all the features of MySQL. Supports data size up to maximum 16 TB. The database size can be maximum supports of 16 TB. That's a very huge database, and this database can increase from 1 GB or 2 GB of RAM to 244 GB of RAM. That's a big maximum size of database you can launch. The compute and the memory of that, and it supports automatic backups and point in recovery time. We'll see all this. It supports cross-region and read replicas. What is this cross-region and read replicas means? Assume that you have one database server, okay, in Mumbai region. Okay, now what you can do, consider this as the master database. You can create a secondary database, okay, in different region. We call the secondary database as read replica of the primary database. That's the reason we call it as all the secondary databases. Whatever you create for your master, those are called the read replicas of database. So you can also create read replica of the database. What are the advantages of doing this is whenever the master goes down, excuse me, your website will fetch the data from this read replica database servers. Now it is saying whether you are launching the database for development or testing purpose or production, okay, or if production, he is telling, hey, we recommend Amazon Aurora. I told you that Amazon Aurora was designed from MySQL by advancing some features of MySQL, right? That's the reason he was trying to recommend his database servers for the customers, for his customers, so that he can get benefit. Okay, you can choose anything. For our reason, I'll go with development and testing. Okay, we are not going for any production or nothing, right? Now here you have to specify which this MySQL is an database software that was designed by MySQL community guys, and it was given to all the people for free. That's the reason here you can see general public license means it is everybody free. And now coming to these are different versions of MySQL server. You have to choose any one version. Let us keep the latest version only 5.6.37. Now here, what is the instance type of database you are trying to launch? In this scenario, we'll launch a small database, one virtual CPU with 2 GB of RAM. Okay. Now here saying, do you want to create read replica in different zone? If yes, select. Then he'll create a read replica in different zone of the same region. I told you, right, in every region you'll have multiple availability zones. So he'll create another read replica in different multiple zone. If no, he won't create. So that read replica would be the secondary server to your database, like an active and passive servers. This would be the passive server. Your primary master would be the active server. Now he's telling again which volume you want to keep. I suggest always prefer SSD volumes. And here asking what is the database size you want to give, the entire hard disk size for the database. For our testing scenario, let it be 20 GB only. Okay. Now settings. Here we have to provide a name for the database. Database identifier means a name for the database. Like I can give it as my, or we can give it as test case. Next, username. For logging into database, you require username and password. Reconfirm the password. Just click next. Now here asking in Mumbai region which VPC you are want to launch this database. We can select the VPC and the subnet also. Do you want to provide this database to access by a public? Yes, then only I can connect from my home, right? If no, you can keep it also no. So that if you keep no, what happens? The database server only communicates within that LAN where the default VPC. Do you have any preferences to launch the master in particular different zone? If you say 1A here, he will launch the master in 1A and he'll launch the replica in 1B. So for the database server also you have the security groups. Like for instances you'll have the security group rights where you allow incoming and outgoing traffic. Here database server also you can create a new security group or you can use a selected existing security group. In this serial I'll create a new security group. I'll name it as test case DB. So here MySQL is a database server that uses port number 3306 default port number for communicating with all the different softwares. So let it be 3306. If you want to change the port number to something else, yes, you can do that also. So here backup. He's saying how many long days you want to keep. He can take what happens. This Amazon guys will take the backup of your database daily. Okay, if you say here 2 days, it means that he'll take the backup daily and he'll keep the backup of the yesterday's and day before yesterday's. 2 days he'll keep in storage. If you say here 7 days, he'll keep the last 7 backups in his storage. Like that, it supports him. It can store a maximum loss of previous 35 days of storage. Okay, in this scenario, I'll keep it only just 1 day. So now, backup window means he's asking, hey, do you have any preferable time to take the backup? In 24 hours day, if you have any selected window like, hey, take the backup at morning 8 o'clock, okay, then he'll take the backup on morning 8 o'clock. This is how you can specify the time window. If you specify no preferences, he'll automatically take it any time according to his. Now monitoring. Do you want to enable extra cloud watch monitoring on this database server? Yeah, then this database server, what cloud watch monitoring does, it always tries to pull the CPU utilization, memory utilization, everything on minute basis. Per minute it will capture and it will store you, it will show you on the CloudWatch services as a metrics, as a graph if you enable this. Now maintenance cell, what happens? Now we launched a database server of 5.2.76 version. Now what if after a week that MySQL community guys launches a new version? In this scenario, if you want to automatically update to minor version change here, okay, if you enable this, it will automatically update to your new version. For that, do you have any specific time window? That's what you say, hey, every Monday morning at 2 o'clock, if you have any new version released from MySQL, you update that. This is what it means. If you disable means it will not perform any version change. This is how you launch the DB instance. Now we'll see the DB instance whether it is launching or not. Now here you can see that the engine is MySQL, database engine we have chosen is MySQL, and the type instance type is db.t2.small. The status is still creating. Maintenance, till now no maintenance has been occurred on that. That's the reason it is showing now. And by default, Amazon has provided some CloudWatch matrices for this database service for free, like CPU utilization, DB connections, how many connections are right now connected to the database. Okay, how many free storage is still available, memory. In a minute or two, this database will be created. Now, in order to connect to this database server, okay, we need to have a software in my system called MySQL Workbench. This is the MySQL server, right? MySQL database. So for connecting to MySQL database server, I need a software called MySQL Workbench in my system. So I think I have already installed that. Yeah. Let me open up this. So this is how the dashboard of MySQL Workbench software looks in my system. It is installed. Now in order to create a new connection to connect to this database server, first let it complete the creation. It's still creating. So in order to connect to the database server, you need to copy this endpoint. Endpoint represents the database connection name. Copy this endpoint and open MySQL Workbench and create a new connection by clicking on this plus button. Name the connection. I'll name it as test case. Now on the host name, paste the endpoint that you have copied. Okay, we know that this uses port number 3306 and the username is I have created test case and the password is test case. Now okay to save this connection. Here it is saved. Now let me see whether it is still created or creating. It is status is backing up. For the first time when it creates, it will back up. Now I think it is created. Now let's connect to that MySQL workbench. Click on test case. Now this workbench is connected to our database server. Yes, now it is connected to our database server test case. On the database server, you can find different schemas. InnoDB are the default schemas produced by database server. Test case DB was the database schema produced by database server. If you want to create a new schema, yes, you can create a new schema. Right click, create schema. Okay, name that schema as test or something. It's up to you. Upload. This is how you can create launch database server on the Amazon RDS service and you can connect it to MySQL Workbench. Any doubts you have on this topic, guys?
No, bro.
I have a question from Shankar. For example, my computer is using Oracle. In that case, do I need to go with same database in AWS? See, there is an Oracle database server and Oracle client. We use client software to connect to the database server. Here in my example, I have launched the server MySQL database server on Amazon, and I am using the client software MySQL Workbench for connecting it from my computer. If you, while launching the database server, see, let us see, go to instances and launch DB instance. If you have here selected Oracle, then this is the Oracle server you are launching on Amazon. For that, you require Oracle client database software in your system so that you can connect to this database server.
One more question. Suppose if my company is using DB2, but DB2 instance is not available with Amazon. In the case, what should I do?
Okay, these are all the only 6 database servers Amazon supports. In that case, what you can do is you can create a new EC2 instance. On that EC2 instance, you can install all the DB2, whatever the softwares, and you can run that instance as a database server.
Okay, okay, okay.
Some people uses MongoDB. So Amazon is not supporting the
Yeah.
MongoDB. That what you can do, you can create an EC2 instance and you can install the MongoDB server on that, and you can make that EC2 instance as a database server.
Okay. So these RDS are to get the backup only, right?
This RDS is an SaaS service. When I say SaaS, software as a service,
Yeah.
Amazon will take the
Yeah.
responsibility of maintaining the servers, versions, everything, the database, everything. We just connect and we
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it
Whatever
comes
the updations happening, yeah,
backups and
whatever
yeah,
the updations happen into the database, everything will be stored in our SaaS, like these databases.
yes. When it comes to EC2, there we are owner for everything PaaS and SaaS. So we are responsible for installing the database on that EC2 instance. Okay, we are responsible for taking the backups manually, or we will write a cron job to take it automatically. It's up to you.
Okay.
Here Amazon will take it because while creating the database, said, "Hey, I need a 2 days backup." So he is the responsible. He'll take the backup of the database. He will
Okay.
change the versions of that MySQL when it comes to new or not. Everything he will take care of that.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So available, we can use the available RDS if our company is using the same kind of database.
Yeah, if your company uses any engine out of the 6, you can go for
Okay.
RDS. If it uses something else, then
Okay.
you have to launch an EC2 instance and you have to go with that way.
Right. Fine. Thank you.
Any more doubts from others?
Okay.
Okay, guys, on the database server, while launching, we've seen that read replicas. So read replica will be created on different availability zones. So it means that on one availability zone, you'll have the master, and another availability zone, you'll have the secondary passive database server, right? So it means that we we if you enable the read replica, we call that kind of creating the instance as multi-agent deployments. Multi-agent deployment stands for multi availability zone deployments, because you are launching the same database server on different regions with 2 instances as a backup to one another on multiple zones. That's the reason we call it as multi-agent deployments. It means that you're having the primary server in one availability zone and the secondary server in another availability zones. But you, in the console, here when you go for instances, you will see only one instance. But on the backend, it will have another instance launched in availability zone, different availability zones that you cannot see. If it is multi availability zone launched or not, just click on that. Whether this database server is multi availability zone or not, you can see from here. Here you can see multi-AZ no. It means that it is not a multi-AZ launched database server. It is just a single database server launched in one of the region. And you can see the CPU utilization and everything here on the matrices of that particular database server. Even you can create notifications on this. Here on the left side, go to notifications. Okay, you have no pending notifications. In order to create notifications, go to instances, select the instance. Here you can see all the logs of your database server and recent events. This is the tags, the stickers. You can add more stickers to this. Add tag like name is equal to database, name is equal to protection database, like that. You can add any tags to the database server. This is a snapshot taken. If we want to take the snapshot right now, just click on create snapshot, or automatically according to that time window you defined, as per that it will take the snapshot daily. I mean the backup. Now here, this is how you can create a notification. For every event, if you want to notify, just click enable yes to provide that topic name like DB notification, which DB test case, right? So keep test case DB notification, to whom provide that particular email ID of that person to whom you want to notify. Okay, this is how you can enable the notification. For which you creating notification, any selected specific instance, yes. For this test case instance, if there is any event occurred, you notify to me. Event instance, what events? All events or any specific event. Event scenes like backing when backup or creation, delete, failure, low storage or maintenance is happening, or something happened and it is recovering. So I'm telling that backup. So whenever my test case instance goes for backup, I have to get notified. This is how you can create a notification. Okay. Under snapshots, you can see all the the backups of the database server when it is taken. If you want to delete the soft engine, just click on this and Go to the settings. Sorry. Instance action and delete. He's saying, hey, before you delete, do you want to take any final snapshot? So that you will have the snapshot, we can recover it from the later point. But in our case, no, not required. That's the reason I'll keep no. I acknowledge that no snapshot is required and I'm ready to delete that instance. Now that's it. The instance will be deleted. It is deleting. And go to snapshots. I have older snapshot already created, right? I'll delete the snapshots also. Okay, for deleting the snapshot, I have to select one by one. This is how you can create instances and you deal with snapshots and everything. That's it for today, guys. Any doubts on this topic you have?